Good morning, retail traders. This is the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. There's a couple things I want to mention this morning. Since I've quit using trade ideas, I've had to come back to my old senses and use my old resources that I used to trade with. So I started listening to CNBC in the morning, and all it does is just make me angry and ornery. All they do is talk about politics, and the narrative is always the same. It's always about the interest rate cuts. They got to have everybody's opinion over and over, and every time I turn it on. What do you think about the interest rates? Are they going to cut them? Well, one thing, they were dead wrong when they predicted sick. They put in sick. They say the market tells them how to trade, and I'm a price action trader, so I see things totally different than what they see. Well, the market says this and the market says that. The narrative, though, has always been interest rate cuts. They had it completely. They've always get it wrong. They've never been right. The people they bring on there are pumpers of their stocks, and it just gets annoying. So I started listening to Schwab. Schwab is a whole different story. They talk about stock. They don't talk about politics, for one, which is a great asset because everybody has a different opinion on politics. And every time they talk about stocks, they bring up charts and they give you a trade idea. They just don't say, well, such and such says this, and it's going to. They don't come up with these outlandish price targets, which I appreciate. They do mention upgrades every once in a while, but they don't dwell like they did with Nvidia for 7 months last year. We're going to go to 650. We're going to 1200. So Schwab, I give them a AAA plus. I think they're just a great learning tool for beginners. If you want to learn how to chart and how to understand how to talk about charts, and also get some kind of thesis on the stock themselves. And they're up to date. I mean, they talk about stocks that are coming out for earnings and expected moves, and it's just a great thing, a great source. So I just wanted to make that point across. Now we're going to talk about some stocks today that I'm watching. One is Boeing. I took a little risk yesterday and got into Boeing. We had a great double bottom setup. Yesterday we let out with an ascending triangle. So all we got to do is break this moving average, and I think that's the 21 EMA. So if we can break that 21 EMA, I don't use the EMA that much, but I started using it here lately. I use the SMA, the 21 SMA, but I'm using the 21 EMA like I would use a pivot point, kind of like the way I use the 200 SMA on these time frames. So if we break that, this is Boeing, if we break that 21, nice little breakout setup last night out of the snake, built into a long day ascending triangle. Now Boeing's had some controversy. We got to keep that in mind. A headline can come in here and bring this down, but we hit that double bottom, and I think we've got a small little run to take this up. I'm going to put this up on the 30-minute time frame, and the resistance level is going to be right up around 205 to break. If I can't break that 205, I'll get out of it, but I got a long target of right around 208 to 210, 209, somewhere in that area. And then if it keeps on going, but this is, like I said, this is a drama queen. It's had a lot of bad issues. It gone woke. It's having more, it's just a lot of CEOs that buy from Boeing are a little upset, a little discouraged. So they've been here before, and I think they'll be here again now that they started being in the pattern of wokeism. But I'm still going to scalp it. I think it's a great scalper's day trade and maybe a short swing. That's Boeing. And we have, I think, all these AI stocks that have just shot to the moon are overbought. So I'm at the risk level now where I'm just going to be catching knives on them. And I don't want to take too big of a chance. We had PayPal, I think, pull back yesterday. I did the Fibonacci's on this, and we broke out of that fib. And we've had a good little 4-day pullback. I'm going to be looking for a setup today on PayPal. I think we can definitely pull back and hit that 50% retracement. But right now, we're hugging the shoulder line of this head and shoulders. So that could be a support level. We break the 21 on the 30-minute. I think we can run it up to the next 2 levels. Microsoft, that's a big pumper here on CNBC. They've been pumping the heck out of it. I think we are at a plateau on it. Also, these stocks have just ran up way too much. And the way I trade and the way I see things, I just don't want to take that huge chance. We had a big snake breakout, pull back to inverse head and shoulders, and then double bottom higher low. And she's run from 220 all the way up to 403. That's just way too much. So I'm going to be skeptical of these calls that they're making on here. TSM, we called TSM out. We're at the pivot point of resistance to bring it up inside of this Darvis box. If we do pull back a little bit, I'm going to be playing it inside of that pivot point area. And this is a 3-year weekly time frame. Long. I've got 120 price target, and we almost hit it. So I'm going to see if we consolidate, pull back a little bit. TSM. Meta is another one. It broke the double top on the 3-year here this week. I think we can use this as a support level of 382.28 and hold that double top. We also, I just say, we've had too big of a run. We've made a V bottom recovery, which we need to consolidate. We need to consolidate on all these stocks. Apple, same way. Now they've been pumping the crap out of Apple. Bank of America came out and upgraded it a couple weeks ago, and that caused the market to have a nice little bounce and continue this AI run. Now, Apple's a different story in my book. It can only go so far and then consolidate, and I think that's what we're doing right now. We got to hit the triple top, and it needs to break $200. It could be hitting that range and pulling back, but once it breaks the 200, my target next would be 210 and 220. That's Apple. China, they're trying their best to stimulate the economy. China is China right now. They're a communist country. I don't want to invest too much into China. If we do break the 21, we can move up a little bit. Jack Ma did buy some more shares of this stock at this level. It's way undervalued. I will say that by at least $25. It's way undervalued. Way undervalued. So if I was to go long in anything in China, it would be BABA. Now, Tesla's had some strain here lately. Earnings came out. Tesla. I've been trading Tesla for a long period of time. I do believe that we have hit a support level here at 181.32. I called this out in the room on the way down. I said if my first stop will be that 181 area. If that doesn't hold, she can easily drop down to 165. So it's very important that we do hold this support level and move up a little bit. Target $200 to break. That is an inverse double-headed snake. And we have the left shoulder, right shoulder, and we failed the right shoulder right here. So I'm going to use that shoulder line as a resistance level. Netflix is extremely bullish. This is the kind of stock you'd want to try to catch knives in and run it back up. I think any kind of pullback on this trade right now, we could have a pretty good trade if it knives on us. Right now, Jimmy called a head and shoulders on it too. We hit the shoulder line, which is now a resistance on the weekly time frame. I'm very bullish on this stock, but I don't watch movies. I don't watch TV. I don't have anything to do with it. I just watch YouTube. I think we need to consolidate. We have had too big of a bounce, and it needs to pull back. We did hit that shoulder line, And I'm going to be catching knives on this sucker every day if I can. It's #1 on my watch list. Keep that in mind. Yesterday we hit a double bottom down here. After we had that run, we broke out. We came out. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So we got a snake. I'm one of the best knife catchers out there to date. So we had this little pullback right here, then the knife, and then we had a 1, 2, 3 into a falling wedge. A falling wedge. I called this out. If anybody doesn't know what a falling wedge is, it's a bullish pattern out of the snake. And we had one heck of a run into close yesterday and took this trade, and I was very pleased I did. I got stuck in the SPX yesterday. I trade SPX and SPY every day right out of the gate, so I'd be up on profit. I got stuck in this trade yesterday. I got too far out of the money once it started dipping on me, and I was kind of concerned, but I kept my nose to the grinder. I went ahead and I added on. Once I got down to 25 cents, I bought a lot of contracts, and that lowered my price down to $32.50. We broke out, and I sold it at $40 and $45. So I made some real good money on this trade, but I was also down $750, and I didn't know what to do. I just stuck with it. It had me concerned, but I know this market's bullish, and I figured we'd go ahead and have us a nice run into close. If I'd have held this stock, I would have had probably a real good trading day. I ended up with 30 contracts, then I had 50, and it ran to 70-some cents. I would have made a killing on this stock if I'd just held it a little longer. But once I was out, I was stressed out on this trade. Once I started getting a little green, I pulled the trigger and got out at 40 and 45 cents. I never recommend anybody to do this if you don't know how to trade and you don't know how to read charts. Cost averaging down is only for the skilled trader with a lot of experience and that is able to break that emotional philosophy that comes in with trading stocks. So you got to be extra careful. I just want to make that perfectly clear. You got to know how to chart. If you don't know how to chart, I'd say cut your loss as fast as you can and then wait for the dip. But I held on. I got in at 120 and it dropped all the way to 15 cents. So just imagine, it was not fun. It was not fun. And I think that's Meta. Meta's also, I'm keeping the Magnificent Seven, even I'm still including Tesla. I don't care what any of these idiots say out there. Tesla's a great company. It's not a car company. It's a tech company. It's the Einstein of anything out there right now. I mean, the Einstein, the Benjamin Franklin. If you'd believe in science, you'd believe in Elon Musk. So we got Zuckerberg here. Zuckerberg's a big socialist. So I trade this one when we find good pullbacks. We definitely had a beautiful breakout on this one too. And I agree with my philosophy that we've had too big of a run. We did break the double top all-time high. So that 382 now becomes a solid support. When we do pull back to it, I'll probably go ahead and see if we hold that and take this trade and run up with it. First Solar called the bottom on this trade here. We pulled back again. So we've got a 1, 2, 3. I would be watching this stock very closely as we move into spring. This is a spring trade. It's not a winter trade. So it'd be time to start watching it. And that is going to be FSLR. PayPal, been in the news a lot here lately. We had a nice little bounce. It started to consolidate. We do have an inverse head and shoulders right here. So that support line is going to be pretty much right where that 50% pullback is on this huge run. And that price is right around 58 $59 it needs to hold. Banks, my favorite one is JP Morgan. Keep this one on watch. Long target for JP Morgan right now is 176, 177. Pullback support 163.72 to hold, and I'd appreciate it if it did. But this is a head and shoulders, and we're going to use that shoulder line as a resistance level to go long. Now, they'll keep pumping this stock. It is the best one out there. And I have a new look at Jamie Dimon. I respect this man 100%. He came out against the socialist over there at Harvard. He's not a Jew hater like a lot of people that I see on the news. And I'm not Jewish. I just think everybody should have the right to study their own religion as long as it doesn't have to hurt anybody or have to do with death. Disney. We got a bull flag on Disney. This thing's going to eventually did break out this week. We do have a nice little breakout here of 3 white soldiers. We've consolidated in a bull flag. Resistance to break will be $96. And I do believe that I'm not a Disney fan by any means. It's gone too far woke. They got a lot of changes. The movies they came out with last year just totally suck. And I'll say it with a capital S. They do need to go back to their basics. Disney is meant for children. It's not meant for transsexuals or anything like that. Let's keep it with the kids. If you want the kids to go to these things, then you better just lay off. That's the way I feel about Disney. But right now we did break out of a bull flag, and they're doing their best to try to make this thing run. It's their big daddy of all. Yeah, I have an opinion about wokeism. And it's destroyed about every company that it's touched. So that's it. We got Eli Lilly. Lilly is another one that's been a little bit overdone. I'm looking for a big pullback on Lilly back to the 21, and that's right around 580. I think they overdid this here. CNBC pumping it for 2 weeks straight every day, talking about it for 2 hours a day, especially when it's had such a big run in the past 3 years from 150 to 650. I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. I'll be playing knives on this baby. I missed it, man. I've been calling it out. I've not missed once on the knife on these stocks, and I still think this thing's way overpriced. So 580 off the 21 EMA on the weekly, I'll be buying to go long again. And that's it. Retail traders, have a great day. This is a sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And follow me live on YouTube. And I'm not an investment center. I don't give financial advice. I just try to teach how to trade stocks and how to look for patterns and how to trade off the moving averages and try to mix it in with being in the now. I want you to take your own ideas and learn off me or other traders. I'm just going to be a little helping stone to get you there. And have a great day. Retail traders.